Novel title, Hail the King. Chapter 10, I'm Invincible. Fei saw the heroic scene where Pierce risked his own life to destroy the siege ladders so that the defenders would have a chance at driving the invaders off. He was deeply moved by Pierce's actions. Fortunately, at the last second, he was able to save Pierce's life by coming up with the unorthodox tactic of throwing a living person as a weapon. Wielding the massive double-handed axe with a great amount of force, Fei crushed enemy warriors wherever he went. Great job, Sir Warrior. I'm the second commander of the King's Guards. Who are you? I've never seen you before. The black-haired Brook yelled in surprise as he saw that Pierce had been saved. He was not in a good situation as well, still struggling with the fight with the skilled enemy from earlier. The unexpected savior had broken the subtle balance on the battlefield. The hope of the Chapter-10 soldiers had finally came. Commander Brook, you will soon find out. Fei didn't want the soldiers to find out who he was yet. He had gotten used to the killing, screaming, violence and blood in the Diablo world. There was no difference between the two for Fei. As he got on the battlefield, he went straight into it without any need for adaptation. Moreover, the scenes in front of Fei had excited him. Everyone had dreamt of becoming a superhero and going around saving the day, protecting the citizens of their countries when they were young. Now Fei was living his childhood dream. Although his axe was harvesting the lives of many people, he had no remorse. Killing the others was the means for saving his own. It was as simple as that on the battlefield. Fei backed off as he protected the soldiers to carry Pierce off of the defense wall, and then returned to the front line of battle. The ordinary enemies were no match to the brutal strength and the sophisticated axe skills of a level 5 barbarian. The enemies screamed and cried as Fei approached the last siege ladder. His axe whizzed through the air, bloody light glistening off of the blade of the axe. The last couple enemies who were protecting the ladder screamed, as they were knocked off of the defense wall and smashed into the ground by a horizontal strike from Fei. That strike was so powerful that it didn't even stop there. As Fei followed through the strike, his axe bashed into the battlement of the defense wall. Dusts and sparks flew everywhere. The 1-foot-thick battlement broke off and smashed into the enemies outside of the castle and bellowed up dust. The siege ladder that was secured onto this battlement was dragged alongside with it. The ladder flipped 360 degrees in midair with enemies still clenching onto it, and crashed into the Zuli moat hundreds of yards away. Such strength. Everyone on the battlefield was shocked again by Fei. The morale of the soldiers of Chambord was boosted by the new reinforcement. Their hope of winning increased dramatically. On the other hand, the enemies was scared to death by Fei. No one in their right mind wanted to face him. But Fei didn't stop there. His next move had maximized the power and effect of individual heroism on the battlefield. The king's soldiers, rise up and battle. For our kingdom. For our fathers and mothers. For our wives and children. After his successful attempt on destroying the siege ladder, he raised up his gigantic axe. With the soft glow of golden light from the sunset encompassing his armor, he roared like an invincible god. Suddenly, an invisible, yet vehement force spread from Fei's roar. Like a tsunami, it brutally blew into the crowds of enemies. As if they saw something horrifying, all the enemies within 5 yards of Fei threw their weapon on the ground, and started screaming and sprinting away from Fei as fast as they could. Some of them were so scared that they jumped off of the 200-feet wall. Barbarians' war cry. This roar scared away most of the enemies that were standing close to Fei. The mysterious powers from the Diablo world had finally appeared in this world. Of course, only Fei knew what was going on. Everyone else was stunned. What kind of power was that? Gods. It was completely quiet on the defense wall. Under the light of sunset, everyone felt something uncontainable was about to burst out of the soldiers of Chambord. Finally. Someone subconsciously yelled after Fei, battle. For our kingdom and families. This little follow-up was like a tiny spark into a pond of gasoline. All of a sudden, the blood in the defending soldiers of Chambord had ignited, burning like an unstoppable flame. Fight. Defend. For our homeland. Attack. Kill. Battle. The chanting roars sent forth a truly spectacular force. Like the most unimaginable magic, it quickly spread around the battlefield. Almost every soldier of Chambord started roaring. Morale was skyrocketing. A wounded soldier pulled out the barbed arrow from his shoulder. A farmer that got his left leg cut off crawled onto an enemy and bit his thigh. An elder that got his heart pierced by a sword, stabbed his knife into the enemy's skull using his last strength and breath. Fei's roar had empowered every defender of Chambord, giving them unprecedented strength. The advantage quickly shifted onto the defenders. After losing the siege ladders, no more backup for the enemy soldiers can get onto the defensive walls of Chambord. There was also no way out for the enemy soldiers. These warriors almost shit their pants. They screamed as they turned around and started running away from the blades of the defenders. Jumping off of the high wall didn't seem like a bad idea now. At least jumping off of the wall gave them a slight chance on living. If they had stayed on there, these suddenly rated up defenders wouldn't give them any chances. They would end up in a worse condition than just dying. One of the invaders was literally bitten to death by a couple severely wounded soldiers. That was warfare. This new arrival must be a hero. Star-ranked, even moon-ranked warriors and mages may be able to kill numerous enemies, but there were some people referred to by others as heroes. They could motivate everyone around them. Every action, words, and expressions in their eyes could bring hope and bravery to their followers. Fei accidentally became the hero in the minds of the defenders of Chambord. After the roar, Fei went back to the killing of enemies. Broken swords, broken spears and broken armor. Everywhere Fei moved to, enemies cried, were mutilated and died. With invincible momentum, Fei approached the center of battle.